We get to know and understand more and more about ourselves. We get to understand more and more about what we want from what we don't want. Hi everybody, good afternoon and happy Thoughtful Thursday. I know here in North America it's getting cold. It is about that time, winter, fall into winter. What can you do? So I just made some soup the other day and I am eating it. Absolutely love it. Some beef and barley soup. And I actually, we are going to be discussing that actually. We're going to be relating that today. Good morning, Auntie Dale. So today we are going to speak about self-image. What is it? How is it that you see yourself? And things that we may be able to do better to improve our self-image. So it's funny, to be honest with you, I was like, what the heck am I going to be talking about today? You know what I mean? Like things are just coming through me, streaming through me. And something said, speak about your self-image, right? So I have a story to tell you guys. So yesterday, my girlfriends called me, right? And right away, it was funny. I was working all day, didn't really care about how I looked, all that stuff. And as soon as I came on, my hair, I like fixed my hair and everything like that because my hair was a hot mess. It was up in a big ponytail and everything. My girlfriend's like, did you just fix your hair? And I was like, yep. So I was looking like a hot mess, right? So it's just interesting to know, with some people how important it is. And again, guilty as charged, you know what I mean? With certain things, certain times, like it almost becomes a force of habit, right? That we have to look a certain way. But here's my thing. Are we looking this certain way because of others, or are we looking at this certain way because of ourselves? So when it comes to self-image, is it that we are looking to, let's say, be skinnier? Are we looking to be bigger? Are we looking to be taller? Are we looking to be smaller? All these things, right? We live in such a society that is full of materialistic things, right? And many people, believe that when you increase that materialistic gain, that life will become happier. Life will become meaningful when you do all of these things. No. Happiness, as we know, it starts within, right? And easier said than done. Words are just words, but it's how are we finding our happiness inside? We have to create that, right? So, it's funny, there is a song that came to my head when I posted and said, okay, I'm going to talk about self-image because this is actually close to my heart too, man. And there's a song that went, I wish I was a little bit taller, wish I was a baller. So that was actually me growing up. I actually wish I was taller. So, of course, I went through the whole bullying, being picked on for being short and all these things. And it didn't come until later on in my life where I actually accepted myself for who I am. Had to accept, listen, hey girl, you are not growing. You are all of 4'11", and that's just the way it is. That's the way that, you were made, you were brought into this earth. And what am I going to do about it, right? So that kind of thing. And I think that's important that we begin with ourselves. We love ourselves. So this is something that I've worked on within myself. I took one of my biggest weaknesses, okay? So being, like I said, being short. That was something I cannot change that, right? That is just inevitable. It is what it is, okay? So understanding that was something that I had to learn how to overcome, right? And a lot of it was the bullying. A lot of it actually was a reflection of other people's perceptions of me onto me, about me. It wasn't even about myself, right? Because of the teasing and all of that growing up, it really, that basically created a negative impact, a negative environment around me, right? Of course, not for my family and stuff, but I mean, outside, being, wanting to fit in with friends and all of that stuff. So what I'm saying, great things. Oh yeah, great things come in small package. Damn right, awesome things come in small packages. Booyah! But with that being said, I needed to get to a place of that, right? I needed to get to a place of acceptance within myself, within my own mind. Anybody can turn around and say, oh, you are beautiful. Oh, you don't need makeup. You don't need all of these things. But do you believe that? And are you actually trusting in that within yourself, right? Are you accepting yourself? Because that's where it all begins, man. Who gives a shit what other people have to say? You know what I'm saying? It's not about anybody else. It's about yourself. And that is what's important, okay? So as I said, I went through that whole thing of being short and had to accept that. I went through the whole thing of, my skin breaking out, looking like Rocky Road and all of that. Damn, it was some rough years, man, growing up. Holy crap. But it only makes us stronger. It only makes us warriors, right? And ready for the world ahead. So I want to touch a little bit more on this, okay? So it's funny. As I said, I made some soup the other day, okay? And one of the things that, it was funny, I was talking to one of my friends, and he said, I was on the phone with him, and I was like, yeah, I just made soup, and I basically put everything into the pot kind of thing, and he starts laughing, and he's like, oh my gosh, Keisha, I have to show you how to make soup, because you don't just throw everything into the pot. I knew that, right? And he said, you need to build a soup. And it's so funny that he mentioned that, because I think that's important to our everyday life. I think that's important to our self-image. We build on it. So when we talk about soup, right, in a pot of soup. So I make various types of soup. The one that I made, as I said, was a beef barley. I put some, sweet potato, some potato in it, some beef, all that stuff, right? So we have a bunch of root vegetables in the actual broth of the soup, okay? But to begin my soup, what I did is I put the onions, I put the garlic, and the celery, and kind of brought that to a boil, okay? That's basically like our lives, ourselves, okay? And I'm going to show you this with an onion right now. We have our onion, right? We have the first layer, and this is going to go into our soup, let's say, right? We have the first layer of our soup. So we're boiling that up, bringing it to a boil. Then what do? We add in, let's say if it's a meat, chicken, beef, pork, whatever it may be, right? So you have to make sure you season that up well. You put that into your pot, then you boil it up again, right? Then what happens? Then we add in, whatever root vegetables you want. Cassava, plantains, sweet potatoes, whatever it is. Boil that up again. Make sure then you have, you can add in more of your seasonings if you like. Your parsley, your thyme, your oreganos, whatever it may be, okay? Your cilantros, whatever it may be. Boil that up again. Make sure, again, and you keep building and building. This is exactly like our self-image, right? It was something that I needed to learn at a very young age to build on my self-image. For me, build on myself. And again, I'm going to state this. Makeup is not bad, okay? These things are not bad. The outside layers, right, of what we see, of what people see. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying that people can't, wear makeup and things like that. Who cares? However, what it boils down to is, who are you trying to impress? Are you being truthful within yourself? It's funny. I see people wearing makeup at gyms sometimes. Really? You know what I mean? To work out. To each their own, right? But again, we always have to get to the true essence, the core of us, of our true beauty. And beauty it really does lie within. Because let me tell you, you can be the most gorgeous, sexiest man, woman, whatever. You got it all together, you got the hair, you got the eyes, you got the skin, whatever. And you can be the most ugliest person ever, because it is your attitude, it is your true essence, it is your energy, it is your spirit that can just be so despicable that nobody wants to talk to you, right? So never forget that. Beauty truly is inside deep. Exactly. You use it, you can use, the superficial, artificial stuff as an enhancer, right? That's the way that many people use it. And some people don't. Some people hide behind it, right? It almost becomes a mask when we put these things on. So it's important to be aware and to understand why is it that we do the things that we do, right? And again, this is for nobody but yourself. So who cares what anybody else has to say, but why is it that you are doing it, right? This is what I'm getting at. Make sure you question that for yourself. Onions, okay? So what are onions? It's a bulb, okay? I love relating these things to food, okay? By the way, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a culinary nutritionist. My name is Keisha Luke. For all your foodie needs, as you can tell what I'm doing, please feel free, contact me, okay? My website's up at the top there. So, as we know, an onion, it's a bulb, okay? So what happens? We have our first layer here, okay? We have the skin of an onion. And as many of you know who do cook and some of you who don't cook, you need to peel off the first layer of the onion, right? You don't want to keep that on when you're cooking. This is what we're going to do. We're going to cut this onion. Okay? And you want to peel it. Alrighty. We are all like onions. We have many different layers to us. We have many different levels and understanding of our being, okay? Of who we are. Don't you guys love food? I love food, man. I'm just looking at this being like, damn. Woo! So what happens? You have, of course, the outer layer, right, of the onion, and then you have the core, right? The core of the onion. So this is exactly as we are as beings, okay? You have, when it comes to our self-image, so we have, of course, like I said, we have the outer layer that we peeled off, okay? Then we have an inner layer with that big knife. Then we have an inner layer, okay? So we're getting into the inner layer. So the outer layer, right, we have, let's say, the materialistic stuff, the superficial stuff that don't really matter, right? The makeups, the fancy cars, the big houses, all that stuff, okay? That's our outer layer. Then now, going into the inner layer now, that's where we now have more of the, what is it that I want, right? What are my goals? What are my desires? What is it that I want to do in life? Who am I? All these things, all these questions, right? So we have the beginning of ourselves, right? This self-image, the self-concepts, right? The concepts are the way in which we see ourselves. And this is when we begin to question, right? The way in which we begin to see ourselves. It's funny, you know, and I'm stating this, I want to state this because to be honest, I never thought I would be in a kitchen, cooking, loving it, you know, that this was my passion. To be honest, I was first starting out saying, okay, this is me, I'm going to be the doctor, I'm going to be the teacher, I'm going to be the lawyer, right? Because I was questioning, who am I? What is it that I want to do? And all of these things were coming up, you know. Tried the whole lawyer thing, didn't work, you know, thought about being the doctor thing, and I was kind of like, all those years in school, no, because I've already spent how many years in school, okay? We're talking a good 15 plus years in school, so I was kind of like, yeah, I'm done when it comes to that. And again, we never stop learning, right, when it comes to our journeys, so never forget that, and I never stop learning too, right? So, I mean, when it means school, I mean, like that back-to-back strenuous learning like that, I was done, right? After university, after college, after massage school, all of these things, right? So that's when we begin to question and start to see what fits in our world, what is for us, what's not for us, right? So that was me, the teacher, the lawyer, the doctor, and then it was like, meh. Then, as the more that I worked on myself, and when we say working on ourselves, you'll hear this term a lot when people, you know, we speak about healing. I speak about healing a lot, especially in my videos, and I speak about, you know, working on yourself, and people are like, what the heck does that mean? Like an open wound and it's healing, right? It's actually basically the same concept. When we truly work on ourselves, it means that we are able to handle, work through the truths of ourselves that anybody else cannot tell you about, because you already know yourself. You're already beating yourself up about it, about any truths that you may have, that your true essence, right? Your true cores. And this could be of your past, like things that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not proud that I've done that in the past, but you know what? I need to move on. So that's what I'm talking about, right? Healing, exactly. It's a work. Everything's a work in progress. But are you working at it? You know, it's one thing to speak about it, and it's one thing to take action. That's the difference. That's the key, okay? So then we go from, you know, the inner layer, so we have the questions, all of that, right? And that is starting to mold us of who we are, and as well our self-image. What is it that we stands for, right? What is it that we want to be seen as, right? And especially, and I mean from yourself, the inner image, to external, to out there, right? And when I say out there, outside of, you know, society, the perceptions that other people may try to put onto you. But again, when you understand your core values, then nobody can break you, okay? So then we have the inner layer. Then we go into the inner layer, right? And that is where we start now to begin to really evaluate and put things together, saying, okay, you know what? Let's say the doctor thing didn't work for me, the lawyer thing, no, but guess what? It's food. Food works for me, right? I love to eat it, love to cook it, passionate feeding people, right? Assisting and healing people's guts, because guess what? That was my story, right? My story was being premature. My story was having a weakened immune system. My story was I needed to take the reins in my hands and to assist in healing my own self, because nobody was going to do it for me, right? So that's what I'm talking about, the things that you are passionate about. That's the inner layer. And working at it, evolving. We're always evolving. We're always a work in progress, right? And then you have your inner core, which is your state of being, your spiritual, I call it this, your spiritual DNA, right? Or your universal DNA, whatever terms you want to use, okay? Basically, your inner being of what it is you want, of this is me. This is who I am. I've worked on myself. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I want to do. All of these things. So you start to learn already. You know what you want. You just have to go and hustle it and get there, right? So, as I said, when we are all like onions. We are all like layers of an onion, because we are continuously peeling and peeling and peeling, right? And as we peel, we get to know and understand more and more about ourselves. We get to understand more and more about what we want from what we don't want. And also, not only that, but we also learn and understand how we want others to treat us. Remember something, we teach people how we want to be treated. So if you are seeing yourself, for instance, as you're weak, you're depressed, you're not strong, you're anxious, you're not pretty enough, you're ugly, all these negative things, right? If you're seeing yourself in this box of negativity, okay, right now, what is it, or what do you think it is in which we are thinking the way that we think, right? So basically, if you're thinking I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm that, guess what's happening? That's exactly what you are exuding out there to other people. So when other people see you, that's exactly how they're going to treat you. You teach people how you want to be treated and how they should treat you. Never forget that. That's very, very important, right? For any of our progress. The more confidence, the stronger that you feel, all of these things, you're going to notice as well that you are going to find that support system around you that are exactly like that. And everything, like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. Everything takes time. I call it my 7-year journey, man, because it's been a 7-year journey for me, right? So when I say that, you're not just going to wake up one day and it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's happy-go-lucky. No, I'm not saying that at all, right? I'm saying every single day, make sure that it is that you work on something within yourself, because it is going to bring you closer to that core, that root core of who you are, your essential being, right? Your essence of your soul, all of these things, and the things that make you genuinely happy, right? Whatever it may be. So just like a soup, right? Coming back to that, understand that everything has to be built upon, just like a home, right? You build a strong foundation and you keep building and building and building. The outside noise, guess what's going to happen? A wind may blow, rain may fall, snow may fall. What do you keep doing? You keep building and building and building, right? The soup in the pot. You keep building and building and building until it's edible, until it's tasty, until you are able to ingest all the flavors, right? Until you are satisfied and saying, I am happy with this. I am happy with this soup. I am happy with myself. And I don't care what anybody else has to say, right? So I think that's important. We speak about, and I speak about a lot about nutrition, but with nutrition as well. And as I always state this, it's a mind, body, soul healing, right? It's all about the way in which we see ourselves. So if you are seeing yourself as, let's say as fat or petite, or I need to gain weight, or I'm not pretty enough because I have all this acne on my face, right? What are the ways in which that, you can assist yourself, whether it's, let's say, through food, Okay, so nourishing the soul is very, very important, especially to, as I said, increase our vibrational patterns, our energy, right? Or is it through, let's say, our body, right? Which can be through exercise, through meditation, right? Through yoga, little things like that, things that you love to do, but to get the body going and flowing. Okay, they say energy flows. What is it? Intent goes where energy flows, right? So you always have to keep that body going, and the way that we keep the body going is by stretching, exercises, yoga, all of these things, movement. Okay, movement. And or, again, is it the mind, right? So it's all about mindset. What is it that I want? Write down your goals, write down your desires, work on them every single day. It assists to get you better and better and better. And that's exactly where, what I speak about today. So when it's me about food and love and passion in the kitchen and wanting to be able to, feed and assist the world in food, I also have to keep this intact. I also have to keep my body intact, right? That's what's important. And the food is assisting to nourish ourselves as well. So as I always say, you are what you ingest, right? Never forget that. And just like the layer of the layers in an onion, keep unraveling, keep unraveling. It's not easy, okay? But you're worth it. I must say that. It's not easy, but you're worth it. So oh my gosh, so Thoughtful Thursday. I won't see you guys till next week. Oh my goodness. Or I may do a surprise one. Come on the weekend, and we may do some cooking. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and all those that are watching in the background. I see you. Again, you were here with your culinary nutritionist, Keisha Luke. You can catch me every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 12 o'clock, okay, where we do our live cooking demos and our nutrition education, all right? For any of your meal service needs, so as many of you know, I do the meal services to Mississauga, the GTA, Scarborough, Richmond Hill, Vaughan, all of that great stuff. Please feel free to hit me up as well, so that we can collabo, send you out some menus, all of that. For any of your nutritional coaching needs or anything like that, any meal plans, any meal prepping ideas, anything like that, also feel free to contact me. So until next week, have an awesome, awesome weekend, y'all. I know it's a little bit rainy here on this side of the world, but I must say, with that being said, this is actually the best time to take time for ourselves, right? And just to kind of go in and really look at ourselves, right? In terms of, again, self-image. What is it that we want? How is it that we see ourselves? And when I say that, it may not just be in the physical form, but also it may be in terms of, let's say, a job, or where we see ourselves, they always, people may always ask you, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself, 10 years from now? I'm like, dude, where do you see yourself now? Okay, that's the most important. Where is it that you see yourself now? And where is it that you want to be? Let's say 6 months from now, 3 months from now, where is it that you want to be? It's always about in the present moment, being in the present moment, right? In order to enjoy the abundance that's around us, and always give gratitude every single day. Give gratitude for what we have, for more will always come. Okay, so until next week, everybody, love you all. Stay warm, have fun, kick up your feet a bit, enjoy, have a relaxing day. Today is definitely a reading day for me. So until next week, I love you. Mwah. Peace out, y'all. Take care. Bye.